right, real quick, our preferred partners. They're not random sponsors. They're companies that have already proven they help indies win. So we want to share something that might change how you think about scaling. You don't need to hire to scale media. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but that's exactly what over 50 indie agencies discovered with Path Labs. They basically become an extension of your team. No headcount increase, no benefits to pay, no management overhead. Look, we all know media execution is getting harder and more fragmented every day. New platforms, new formats, new requirements. It's exhausting. Path Labs simplifies all of that so your team can focus on what they're good at: strategy, creativity, and growing client relationships. They give you a single point of entry to all the media tech and activation you need. No separate contracts with a dozen platforms, no extra hires, no tech overwhelm. Want proof it works? Over $200 million in media spend managed. Over 6,500 campaigns launched annually. 90% agency partner retention. This is their human-led model in action. Reliable execution, fast onboarding, and people who answer the phone when things get a little crazy. If you're ready to pitch and win bigger media opportunities, find out more about Path Labs at indieagency.partners.
All right, welcome to Meet an Indie Agency. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm Kyle O'Brien, managing editor here at Indie Agency News. And let's go meet an indie agency. How about we head down to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and meet Mitch Bennett, co-founder of Guesthouse. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Kyle, thanks for having us. This is awesome.
Absolute pleasure. Love the background. So let's just jump right into it. What is your agency best known for?
Yeah, so Guesthouse is a simpler way to great creative. We help brands of all sizes go from a simple strategy to simple creative idea and then simply make it, producing everything ourselves with no handoffs all along the process.
Gotcha. All right. So in that sense, then what are your three top core strengths?
Yeah, so the thing that makes us really unique is we help you get to big creative ideas and then produce them ourselves with our own in-house director. Our creative partner here, Wes Whitener, is a well-known commercial director. And so the same people coming up with the idea are the same people producing the work. So that's one thing that kind of makes us special. The other thing we do is we believe in that brands are smart and don't need to be told no, which was sort of the way of working of most agencies that we worked at, was like, we have to tell them no so we can sell them a bunch of stuff. We like to listen to the brands. You probably have some great strategy and experience and have done research, and we can work with that to get to a simple strategy. We have some tools that we're able to do it in 1 or 2 meetings to get to really good briefs, and then we're able to test that with the work rather than let's change the words in the strategy one by one. Let's actually see what could work. We find we often can have a campaign out getting great business results for a brand before a big holding company agency would be done scheduling the onboarding session. So that's two. The third thing is we work really well with in-house teams, and rather than the sort of traditional agency model of we want to destroy your in-house team, we believe that brands have great in-house teams. And one of the reasons we're called Guesthouse is that we're a guest at the table at your in-house team. And so the skills you have in-house, we love working with those people and can help them do their best work. The things you don't have, maybe you don't have strategy, production, maybe you don't have senior creative to get to that big idea, we can fill in egolessly in that role and help you kind of fast forward the process. And hopefully it's a lot more enjoyable all along the way.
Nice. Well, then feeding off that, you've kind of laid the groundwork. Now, give us the main reason a brand would want to work with Guesthouse.
Yeah, so there's a lot of brands want to not repeat the experiences they've had in the past with the slowness and the sort of overhead and bloat of big agencies. So they either come to us because they've had that experience, and they'd like to try something new. We have some big brands that have done that with us. There's also new brands that are kind of new to marketing and want to figure out a way to do this. They may have a smaller budget that they're not sure how to best use, and we're able to maximize the number of assets that they can get out of that are usable and great. And we sort of walk those types of brands through the process, sort of as an advisor as we go. So those are two types of people who tend to have a success with us.
That's great. Obviously, you've worked with many brands over the years. You've been in the network side, so what's good and what's bad to bring to the table. But what have you learned from the brands, and maybe even some of the bigger agencies that you've worked with that have helped Guesthouse grow over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's been an amazing 3 years. And the one thing we always wanted to try, but could never really have happen at a regular agency, is listening. And so I know I'm talking about us right now. That's kind of what this video is about, but we try not to talk about ourselves much, and we ask questions and then sit back and really listen. And if you listen to brands, they will tell you everything you need to know to then come up with the strategy and the idea and everything. So we've learned a lot by doing that, and brands tend to be really in touch with their customers and have really smart insights. And so just playing on their side rather than big reveals and look at me, I'm an expert in marketing and advertising. That's kind of what we've learned, is how to work alongside them and use the skills and talent that they have as well.
Absolutely. Listening has got to be one of the most important things you can do with any client. So let's get to the indie aspect. You've been around since 2023, correct?
That's right.
Excellent. With offices in Chapel Hill and in Atlanta.
That's right.
All right, excellent. So why is it important to be an indie? Obviously, again, you've all worked with bigger networks, you've worked with big brands. Why is it important for you to be an indie?
We wanted to have total control of how clients are treated, and the only way to do that is to set the rules and to simplify and to have fewer people in the mix of it. It's something that we wanted to try in 2018. We came very close to doing it. I'm glad we waited. But we had an experience at an agency where we brought in a great new big national tire brand, and they came in and they had a strategy, and we liked it. Wes and I were like, we were having ideas in the first meeting, like, wow, we can really use this. They had done tons of testing. They had worked it up and gotten approval from the CEO, and we're ready to go. And our agency needed to pay for its strategy department. So they said, your strategy is dumb. We need to start from scratch. And the client was like, well, okay, I guess so. And then we spent all their money and never made a single piece of work before they left because they were so frustrated. So what we did was, Wes and I split off. I went to learn how agencies work by running a couple of them. Mm-hmm. Wes became a director to be able to simplify that process. That was always our idea, was we were going to not hand things off to people who didn't care as much as we do, because no one cares as much as we do. So he learned to actually direct. And then we got back together after 2020, and now it's possible to, it used to be that people thought you needed a boardroom and a big showcase office. Now you just don't need that at all. Nobody cares at all. We have clients all over the globe. We've all over the map. And so you don't need any of that now. And that's been how we launched.
Excellent. And your clients, what do they see, the importance of you being an indie? How, do they come to you for that? What are they saying when you say, hey, we're an independent shop, and I'm sure they probably come to you because of your independence?
Yeah, I think one of the top reasons is access to top creative talent that has a track record, and a recent track record at that. A lot of times, when you work with a bigger global agency, you're working with junior talent who maybe aren't as invested at the top level. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is I think the moving faster. Sometimes people want to do that, and we can move usually faster than any brand can. So we're able to match that pace. But we also have big brands that have a huge agency network that they use for things that they need huge agency networks for. And then they come to us for, how can we have a set budget for this? How can we make something better than we should rightfully be able to expect for this? And we're able to work with them and care so much about that for them that it ends up being some of the best work they've done that year.
And you come in as the guest, of course.
That's right. Yeah, that's been fun. We've had the name for a very long time, and the guest works both ways. We're a guest on your brand team, and not fighting with them, but working with them. And then we also bring in guests, the best talent that we've met over our years of working. And so rather than, oh, there's a new logo assignment, we got to ask the person who we have on staff. We tap 3 of the best designers in the country to come up with that, and that's been working really well. We supplement Wes and I working on the creative with project managers, producers, designers, those types of people all the time, and that's been working great. We didn't invent that, but it's working really well for us.
Right. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about talent then. So how many people full-time at Guesthouse?
Yeah, so we're 3 people full-time. The 3 partners, Jeff Quick, who was head of new business at Fitzco for a long time, and we worked with for about 10 years. And Wes Whitener, my creative partner since a very, very long time ago. I'm not sure I want to put the number on tape. And then we have some full-time on a brand folks who help us manage the day-to-day on some of our brands, and then other people who'll come in just project based. So sometimes it'll be a creative director or designers or a younger team to help us knock some things out, which is great.
Gotcha. So obviously it's different than your usual in-office bunch of people. So you run a little bit leaner. So how do you get the most out of the freelance? Are you using kind of people that you've trusted? Are you using some new people? What's the kind of makeup of your freelance talent?
Yeah, a lot of the people are just like a core team of people that we've worked with and trust, and we know their things they're great at, the things they don't love to do. So we can tap those exact right people, but also through our network of people we've just met, we can often find out by simply asking, what is your favorite thing to do? What do you like to get paid to do?
Interesting.
We're able to tap people and have them do their favorite thing and never their second favorite thing. And so we make a lot of new friends that way, and have been adding to the network.
I love that. What's your favorite thing? It kind of opens it up, but at the same time that people probably have to think and go, all right, I got to be specific.
Totally. Well, a lot of times they'll tell us and we'll be like, okay, you're completely wrong for this. And we're going to work together on something where we can do that thing that you want to do. And when you've got people doing their favorite thing, you just get the best out of them. It's you can't replicate that.
Absolutely. And since you can choose from basically anywhere, you get to choose from the best of either where you're at or for the project. I would imagine.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Absolutely. All right, let's have a little bit of even more fun than we're already having, and in a little block we like to call Weirdos, Misfits, or Underdogs. So do you consider yourselves weirdos, misfits, underdogs, or perhaps a mix of all 3 or a couple of them?
I relate to all 3 of those for sure. We love the underdog spirit. Even when we've been at big agencies, we tend to create an underdog skunk works, trying to make things better than they had any right to be. So I'm going to go with the underdog for now. We also just got a great client called Walk-Ons Sports Bistro out of Louisiana, and they're this great national sports bar. And they were started by a guy who was a walk-on at LSU and only played 6 minutes his whole career, and really just it captures that underdog spirit. And we're doing a lot of underdog stuff for them. So we'll go underdog. That was a very long answer to a very simple question.
No, that's perfect. I love the explanation and why. And by the way, walk on is the best. 6 minutes is so perfect.
Amazing story. There's such a good brand.
What a fun client to work with. So all right, now you get a chance to shout out somebody, be it a marketer you want to work with, be it a brand, be it somebody you have worked with, anybody. This is all for you. You can shout out whoever you like.
That sounds great. So I'm going to look to the past and shout out Tara Matthews Sahu, who is our client at Coca-Cola. She's at McDonald's now. And it was kind of her partnership. We worked together so closely at Coca-Cola and helped build the agency that we were at the time. She taught us so much about how smart marketers can be, and how listening could lead to better work than being right and talking. We weren't always great at it at the time, but she really inspired a lot of that. So big shout out to her. And then the second CMO I'd like to say hi to is the one watching this video. We would like to make things very simple for you. And we would love to have a chat where you do the talking and we just ask you some questions. And my number is 770-633-8862. Operators are standing by.
That's great. And also, let's look real quick. This is your website. So how can people find you besides the number you just gave out?
That's right. We're at welcometoguesthouse.com, and there you can see a lot of our work. One of the things we're really proud of at Guesthouse is we've only been around for 2 years. This is our third year, and all the work that you're seeing right now is work we produced as Guesthouse for Guesthouse clients who are current clients. So that was a very fun video to put together and put up. But yeah, check it out, and we'd love to listen and help you as well.
Love it, and I love the work you do. You guys have done some great stuff, and you're just ramping up now. So it's fantastic to have a talk with Mitch Bennett at Guesthouse, and thanks so much for being with us, and thanks for listening to Meet an Indie Agency. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.